Hey, so for those of you who are new here, I'm recording myself every day until I have $1 million in bank account in cash after taxes. So yeah, we're gonna be here for a while, but the number in the thumbnail is the amount of money I've made so far from my new business, not the amount of money that I make doing other things that aren't the business. It's specifically the idea of like I have not made $0. I wouldn't be living, but with the business that I've started. And the whole idea is logging every single day with the business until it makes $1 million. So that's where we are. For those of you who have seen these videos before, I'm in the car for the third day in a row recording this, and I'm driving home for the holidays right now. So nothing new or exciting to report today. Just having some quiet time in the car. I find that the more time I spend working, the more I really enjoy silence. I was always somebody who hated silence. I always listening to music, but now it's I listen to music for 10 minutes and then I'm tired of this. It's overstimulating. When you cut the bad crap out of your life, your body starts to get really sensitive to it, which is good and bad. It's bad because you have a lower tolerance, but it's good in the way of I've kind of cut out all kinds of free dopamine, things that really energize me, and I'm not constantly feeding my body. And I've done that for so long, it's been years now, that I'm at the point where even just a little bit of loud music, I can't handle it. And drama is the other thing that I noticed, especially since I've been an adult and moved away and in college and stuff. I've noticed that I have no tolerance for drama at all, because I used to in high school and then whole life, but I've been away from it and separated from myself from those people for so long now that I have zero tolerance for it, which is good because, again, I'll surround myself with the right people, but it's bad also because if I need to be around that for whatever reason there may be, which I doubt there is one, I guess I'd be less patient and less tolerant. But yeah, I'll take that as you will. But one thing I've been thinking about a lot today with regards to lessons, a little nugget of wisdom for you, is the idea of the self and how we define ourselves. And I think that some people don't, I'm less so than other people get stuck on this, but a lot of people get stuck on the idea that they can't change and they are who they are. And it's I'm an introvert, but I really want to be an extrovert, but it sucks because I'm an introvert and that's just how it is. Yeah, I'm very introverted, and now it is true that I need alone time, to recharge. I gain energy when I'm away from people, not when I'm with people, while extroverts are the opposite. And I find that I have two options. I can either say, for example, if I wanted to be more extroverted, I can be oh, that sucks, I can't do that because I'm introverted. And it's I've just been dealt that hand, I can't change it. Or the more likely option is I'm just using that as an excuse in order to not try to be extroverted. And so it's question whether you are who you are and you can't change. Is that truly the case? Or is it because you're using that as an excuse to not do the work required in order to change? And so I like to use the example of introverted, extroverted, because that's I would like to be a more extroverted person because I tend to lean towards the introverted side, but I want to also have the ability, if I need to switch on and be more extroverted. And so not constraining myself to the idea that, oh, I'm just an introvert and that's how it is, period, for the rest of my life. And more opening up to the idea that if I do more extroverted things, it'll be uncomfortable, but eventually I will get comfortable with the uncomfortable and will become more extroverted. And so it's just playing with the idea of whoever you want to be or your ideal self. Are you constraining yourself to who you are now because you don't want to do the work, or because you really think you can't change? Because I think that you can change. That's just my opinion, but I'm biased. Actually, I'm really not biased. You're the biased one. You're biased because it's you. I'm not biased because I don't even know who you are. That's so funny. Yeah, I'm not biased. Think about that. Have you not changed because you really think you're stuck with who you are, or because you're not willing to put in the effort in order to change? Boom. There's the nugget for the day. Good action item for you is to do exactly that. So your action item for today, and I will do the same, is to examine one thing or trait that you want to change about yourself, or you always wanted to change but you never have because you've told yourself that's just who you are. So I'll say mine is social. So I am more introverted of a person than extroverted person, but I've always wanted to be more outgoing and extroverted, but but I've always told myself I can't because I'm just an introvert. And so I'm sure you're very tired of hearing about introverts and extroverts by now, but sucks for you. Yeah, it's like, that's what I'm going to try and do better on, is like do more extroverted things, even if I hate them, because I deep down do want to become a more social, extroverted person. And the only way to do that is to try. And it's like, this whole time, have I been being introverted because I don't want to do the work to be extroverted? Absolutely. The discomfort, like, I've always just clung to, oh yeah, I'm just an introverted person, I'm just not like that. But the reality is, I just didn't want the discomfort that would come, especially the social discomfort that would come from having to be a more extroverted person. So yeah, that's it for the day. Routine today looked like, I woke up a little bit earlier than usual. So I got about 8.5, maybe 9 hours of sleep last night. I try to stick to a lot of sleep. You'll see that as a very common theme, because if I go hard, I don't want to burn out. I went to bed at around 10:30 maybe. Woke up at around 7. And I read last night, starting a book called Ultra Learning, which is just like how to learn faster than everybody else. Some dude finished like MIT's computer science course load in 1 year, and it's the typical 4-year undergrad degree, and he passed all the finals for him. So it's kind of just like a way to learn faster. Definitely would recommend reading it. It's a pretty good book so far. I'm only like 30 pages in though. Otherwise, ate good today, hit the gym, just did a lot of stretching and a little bit of weight for recovery day, and watched videos, learned. That's all I've been doing. But another thing that I learned today that I'll leave with you, and then I'll peace out for the day, is focus is super important. And this is something that I learned. I'm not talking down on you and whatever. This is me talking to me, really. Focus, a lot of people think, is like when you sit down and you just pay attention to one thing and then you can go do whatever. But focus is kind of a way of life. And I heard this idea that what you do in your personal life is reflected in your work. So you don't have business problems, you have personal problems that are in your business. And I find that really interesting, because a good example that I fall victim to a lot that I never clocked until now is the idea of focus. And so during the day, I am always pretty much multitasking. So I'll be cooking while listening to music or listening to podcasts. I'll eat and do work at the same time. I'll pretty much do multiple things at the same time. I'll divide my focus. And it's no wonder that when I go to sit down to do deep work at my desk, I try to do 2 things at once. For example, I'm watching these course videos, the 80 hours of course content that I'm going through right now. And while I'm listening to it, I'll open up a new tab and start doing something. And then I'll realize like I'm losing focus. And it's no wonder I do that, because everywhere else in my life, I do the same thing. And so focus being a way of life is, I guess anything is a way of life, but focus specifically being, when you're doing something, just do one thing. Don't do 2 things at once. When you're cooking, cook. That's it. When you're eating, eat. That's it. When you're reading, read. That's it. Now, there's a couple other things that are like, it's dividing your conscious attention, I should say. So it's like, it's hard for me to listen to a podcast consciously and remember it while also physically cooking. But if you have an involuntary thing paired with a conscious action, that's different. So if you're driving, which driving is really involuntary at this point, like you kind of, like I'm literally driving and I'm not even clocking that I'm driving. I can do 2 things at once. Like you can listen to music while you do stuff, because listening to music, your focus doesn't need to be on the music. It can be in the background. But things in which you literally divide your conscious focus between, is screwing up your work, and no wonder you can't focus. And same for me. Like, so that's another cool thing you could try. Is it sucks a lot. I really don't like cooking and not doing anything. I really don't like eating and not doing anything. I've eaten while watching videos or doing work or literally doing anything. Like, I've always eaten while doing something else my entire life, and it's a horrible habit to break. But I think it's worth it, because it'll help me focus more on my work. And I've noticed it a lot more since I've become aware of it. And so maybe this will help you become aware of it too. But yeah, it's like literally anything you do, reflect it. Any of your personal habits are going to be reflected in your work. And with regards to focus, if you divide your attention, you're going to divide your attention at work too. And it's just habits. Like, that's just how it is. And so that's another cool nugget of wisdom for the day, is try focusing on just one thing at a time. One thing that I also found since I've been trying to start to do this is I enjoy it a lot more. Like, if I, for example, am eating while watching a movie or something, versus just eating and like focus entirely on one thing. It's like a lifestyle. I like thoroughly enjoy the food a lot more. Like I taste the flavor a lot like deeper. It sounds weird, but like I really enjoy it. Like I feel more grateful for eating the food. While I'm watching the movie, I'm getting like fed free dopamine. I'm not even taking in the fact that I have a wonderful plate full of food, and it lets me taste it. And it sounds like weird to some of you, others it might not, but like that's like I enjoy things a lot deeper when I do them like that. And I'm assuming work will probably be a lot deeper when I start working on that too. So yeah, those are 2 pretty good lessons for the day. And I guess summary, if like you forgot, because I like to ramble a lot, is if you have an ideal version of yourself, are you not changing your behaviors to become them because you really believe that you are who you are and that can't change? Or is it because you're not willing to put in the work to change? So the example we used was introvert to extrovert. I'd like to be more extroverted, and my whole life I've told myself that I'm just introverted. But really I've been using that as an excuse to not go through the social discomfort required for me to be more extroverted. And what happens in your personal life is reflected in your work. And the example that we use for that is focus. So if you divide your focus between 2 things in your day-to-day life, it's no wonder that you have a hard time focusing while you try to work. And so a good habit to practice would be doing one thing at a time. Eat and only eat, do nothing else but eat. Read, do nothing else but read, etc. And this doesn't apply between an unconscious or involuntary action and then a conscious action. So if you're doing something like listening to music while you drive, you only have to pay attention to one of those things. But things that require you to split your attention, such as listening to a podcast that you want to learn about while also cooking, you have to focus on cooking, but also focus on listening to podcasts. Versus if you're going on a walk, you kind of just walk. Like you don't have to focus on putting your feet in front of you. It's pretty involuntary or habitual at this point. And so, yeah. Action items. Summary is try to focus on just one thing and see how it affects your work performance. And remember that what you do in your personal life reflects in your work life, and you don't have business problems, you have personal problems that are reflected in business. And make sure you question whether you're not changing because you don't feel like putting in the effort or going through the discomfort required to change, or because you genuinely believe you cannot change. Perfect. I'll see you guys tomorrow.